Sharp Game here. Welcome to another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be purchased at Amazon.com. And a couple of days ago, somebody asked me what happens to most Japanese girls when they come to America. And why don't most of them get married? Or do most of them get married? Or why do some stay and some return back to Japan? Why do some behave or act the way they do? So somebody asked me this, and nobody ever asked me this. Being that I've been in Japan, I live in Japan for a couple of years, and I've been visiting Japan for the past 20 years. I never had anybody ask me a question like that. And here's the deal. A lot of these girls that come from Japan, a lot of them come for work. I think the majority come for work. And the majority got married and came over here. And there's a certain percentage of them that come over here as students to go to college as well. So the ones that come over here married usually stay married. Some that, of course, there's always going to be some that get a divorce, because what happens is, they get around, they start meeting new people at their job or out and about in their personal lives, and they get brand new, and and some of them become Americanized, and they'll take that shit back home, and the husband ain't trying to hear that shit. And so some of them, they'll end up getting a divorce because of that. And then you got some come over here for jobs. And a lot of these girls, they didn't really have it popping in Japan. A lot of them were curious, and a lot of them got good offers for jobs when to come over here. And of course they come over, a lot of them come over here single. A lot of these girls that come over here with the working visas, they come over here single. And when they get here, a lot of these women get turned the fuck out. I'm telling you, they come over here, they become Americanized, and they pick up a lot of stuff through osmosis, just watching and listening and meeting people through their jobs and all the networking events and conferences and stuff like that. And a lot of them usually get with the wrong people. And they sometimes it become worse than some of the women that's been living in America forever. I mean, they start saying stuff that you've never heard a woman say where they're from. Their whole demeanor, their whole attitude changes. And the reason why that is because you have to remember that most people adapt to the environment that they're in. See, most people are sheep. They're sheeple. So a lot of these women coming over here for jobs, a lot of them really don't want to go back to Japan. That's why they took the job, so they could leave. That gives them a justification to leave. So they don't really have to explain anything to anybody, because they're very conscious of the image that they have. They're very image conscious. A lot of Japanese girls, a lot of Japanese people just in general are very image conscious. They always worried about what people are going to say and what people are going to think about them, and they want people to like them. See, they come over here, they want to fit in. They're very aware that they're very conscious of that. That's like their whole, that's what make them tick. They want to fit in when they come over here. So when they come over here, they aren't looking to make friends, really. They just want to get in where they fit in, and some of them want to get married, and a lot of them, I think all these women, deep down, want to have a family. But the problem is they don't know how to go about it, because in Japan, um, a lot of these women are, a majority of these women are in their 30s when they come over here, or late 20s, or early 30s. So, see, in Japan, that's a little above the hill once you go past 30, right? So, a lot of these women, if they stay in Japan and if they aren't married by the time they get past, say, 32, the chances of them getting married is very slim to none. And if they do get married, it's going to have to be a foreigner. So a lot of those women will come over here, and they're looking to get with a guy so they can have a family and have, kids and live happily ever after, I guess. But it doesn't work out like that, because a lot of them get turned the fuck out. I'm talking about these women come over here, they get brand new, they start wilding out, drinking, smoking, getting high, partying, like the women over here do. You know what I'm saying? And they'll do this shit for 10, 15, 20 years until they in the 40s and 50s. And what happens is a lot of them, now with the new, I think immigration kind of up the ante, because a lot of them, you usually, when if they come over on the work visa, they usually give them 2 years. Then they have to re-up. If the company decide to pay for it, they when they re-up, they get a 10-year visa, right? But sometimes after the 10-year visa, a lot of these girls really haven't done shit. They haven't accumulated anything. They don't got no house. They never got married. They don't got no kids. So if you're like 45 plus, 45, 50, 55, 60 years old, and if you have to re-up after your second year visa, immigration is gonna send a lot of those. They're sending a lot of those girls back to Japan, and they bring in the younger, fresher Japanese women over here now, because the immigration look at it like this: this bitch is like 55 years old. She's not taxable. She's not accumulating anything. No house, no husband, no kids, no investments. She's useless. This is how immigration is looking at it. And I know a couple Japanese girls got deported within the last year because they don't give them no reason. They don't have to give them a reason by law, because they make the rules. The immigration, they're like the mafia, basically. They do what they want, when they want, how they see fit. So they're sending these girls back to Japan, and they bringing the girls that just came fresh out of college in Japan over here now, because they know, immigration know, they let a certain amount of girls come over here, and they know it's a numbers game, and they know some of those girls, after the 2-year visa runs out, a lot of these girls are going to settle with a guy and have a family, and they're going to stay. But then and they're taxable. But then you got a lot of the older Japanese girls, they're being deported because they come over here, they're wilding out, they're all over the place, partying, smoking, drinking, ain't really doing shit, ain't really making a better life. I mean, maybe to them it is a better life because, compared to Japan, because in Japan, women, for the most part, Japan is a very male-dominated society, and a lot of women don't have no say-so in very much. And And I think a lot of women, when they get over here, average woman in Japan can't really live the life they want. But if she comes over here, she has a leg up in society, even though she's average. So an average chick can come over here from Japan, and she can live an above average life because she's coming over here and she has a leg up. She's receiving unearned benefits, and she didn't have to do anything to receive it. Now in Japan, that's not gonna happen. No, it's not gonna happen. Whatever you get in Japan, you pretty much are going to earn it in some type of way. But if you come over here from Japan, due to the laws and the that has been set up for Japanese people, she has a leg up in society. So a lot of Japanese girls see that, and that's all over North America, by the way. They come from Japan, they have a leg up in society due to the immigration laws that were put in place years ago. So a lot of the girls that come over here, they just get turned out, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them want to get married to white guys, but it for most, it probably won't happen. And the thing about it, a lot of the Japanese guys that come over here, they want to get with white women, right? But the problem with that is a lot of white women aren't checking for Asian guys in America. They don't really want to fuck with the Asian guys in America. So a lot of Japanese girls, they prefer to be with a Japanese guy, but that won't be that easy because, like I said, a lot of Japanese guys don't really want to be with the Japanese girls over here. They're trying to get with the white women, and the pickings is slim for Japanese girls over here anyway. Plus, age is very important because a lot of these girls are older than the girls that the Japanese guys would normally talk to in Japan. So it's going to be very difficult for the average Japanese girl that comes over here single to settle down and get married to a Japanese guy over here in America. So a lot of them sometimes will settle with any guy. When she gets desperate, or when she hit like late 30s or 40s, when she get desperate, the first guy that asks to be with her, she'll just settle. If it even happens, if she doesn't get deported. You know what I'm saying? So this is what happens to a lot of the Japanese girls. A lot of them don't really, they're kind of all over the place. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't really, and the reason why that is because they've been socialized to be a certain type of way within their culture. And when they come to America, those rules don't apply. That shit ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna fly over here unless it's a Japanese guy. But most Japanese guys aren't really trying to settle. They aren't really trying to settle down with a Japanese girl in America. So a lot of the women, Japanese girls are just winging it out here. They're just doing anything. They're not smooth. A lot of them aren't really flamboyant, aren't really, they're not really smart about it. They just kind of all out there, wilding out, So I'm like, sometimes I have to ask some of these women that I know, are you sure you from Japan? You. Then I ask them where they from, and then a lot of them are from small towns. A lot of them aren't from Tokyo. A lot of them aren't from Osaka. A lot of them aren't from any of the bigger cities in Japan. A lot of them are from smaller towns. So if they come to a place like, if they move to a place like L.A. or New York City, mostly they want to be famous, or they're trying to be a movie star or something like that. So if you meet a girl that's says she wants to be famous, to me that's a red flag, because who in their right mind wants to be famous? I mean, even a lot of the people that are famous don't want to be famous. So it's like, what type of person gets out of bed one day and starts looking at TV, I guess, and says, "Hey, I want to be famous." What you got to think about? What type of mindset does a person have to even think of something like that? So that's a red flag to me. But this is just some of the stuff that happens to a lot of the Japanese girls and Asian girls that come over here. I mean, and a lot of times, another thing, this is the last thing, and I'm in this. A lot of times they'll start working with white folks at these major corporations. And when they get over here, a lot of them, like I said, want to get with a white guy. But it probably won't happen for a lot of them. But what happens, they'll start hanging around the white folks at the job, right? And they'll get their ass turned the fuck out. Not only do they get turned the fuck out by the white guys, they get turned out by white women also. And what happens, a lot of them get ran through, right? And then they'll start whining and complaining, talking about white folks this, white folks that. And by the time, when they start talking like that, they're usually sitting in front of me or or Latino, right? Then they'll start talking that shit. So what that means, when they start whining about white folks, that means they've been ran through, or probably had a long list of bad experiences, because they probably stayed in the bigger towns like L.A., New York, Houston, Chicago, or something like that, or maybe Atlanta, places like that, right? And they got ran through and got taken advantage of, and now they're mad and upset, and now they want to come and talk to the brothers and the Latinos after about 5, 10, 15, 20 years that went by. But I be looking at them like, shit, if they didn't want to settle down with you, I don't want to settle down with you either. Shit, get up out of here. I ain't taking no leftovers. But yeah, you're going to run into that. Pay attention to that. A lot of them will complain about what happened to them in the past and why it happened to them. And they make it seem like it's all about the quality of guys. But the problem is if you want a quality guy, you got to be a quality woman, or vice versa, because you get what you are. You don't get what you want. But they don't see it that way, because it's a certain level of arrogance that a lot of women have when they come over here. They have a lot of expectations, but they don't know how to go about doing it, or achieving it, or getting the results that they want, or finding the quality men that they want. They really want what they're not qualified to have. But a lot of them, you can't really talk to them about that, because they're not really trying to hear it, because they're too arrogant. And after they hit a certain, like I said, when they hit late 30s, 40s, and 50s, they'll take damn near any guy. They don't care. They'll settle. So you got to be careful with that. And this is what happens to a lot of the Japanese girls when they come over here, and even some some of the other Asian women from other countries as well. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.